Hi everyone. So here we are in our next week, and the first lecture is of polity, lecture number 15, wherein we'll discuss each and every aspect of the democratic form of government. Now the sources from where I have taken all of these content is the chapters that I've already, of course these are all taken from NCERT. So the chapters I have already mentioned in the introductory lecture. So if you check the polity playlist, in fact the link of which is also given in the description section. So if you check that polity playlist, and the first video talks about how do you approach this subject, in that I have attached that from where all of these topics are taken. So the sources for all the topics are already given right in the first chapter, or let's say the first session. Also the PDF of that I have already shared in the Telegram channel, so you can access it from there. Let's now understand about the details of the democratic form of government. Now, if we just quickly try and understand about defining this term democracy in a very simple language, or the very common definition that's available to us. So we know that Abraham Lincoln has given this very famous definition, which says that democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So this is the definition that we understand: government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But here are certain questions, or you would say, let's say, contrasting points related to this definition. Definitely is applicable, is understood, is clear in its own sense. But the question here would be that only because some definition is very famous, should it be accepted as it is? Or let's say, if we try to define a term based on its origin, etymology जिसको बोलते हैं. So अगर हम origin पे बात करें, so this is derived from the Greek words demos and kratia, which means people and rule, that is ruled by the people. So but the question in front of us is, so should we accept a definition only because it is famous, for example this, or only because it has some origin, for example this? Now if we famous ka, to of course you understand it's not always important that something which is famous would be the precise concept that we could deal with. If we even talk about, let's say, the origin, so let's say there is a word computer. The word computer, it was originated because earlier this machine was used for computation. ठीक है, उसके लिए यूज़ होता था, इसीलिए नाम उसका कंप्यूटर पड़ा. So there are certain words that will not always remain tied to its origin, because nowadays computer do not only do the work of computation, there are multiple tasks that are performed by this machine. So the whole question is that to understand more about any particular concept, only a famous definition or only origin of the word would not be sufficient. We will have to go into the details of it, and a clear definition of the term would be very much needed, which we can also try to understand with the help of the features of that particular term. So now we'll try to understand certain features of democracy, and then we will also see kind of certain counter arguments for those features, which different people have given at several points of time. Let's understand the first feature of democracy. So in a layman language and in a general language, we do understand that a government in which people play the role is what we understand as the democratic kind of government. So here the first feature is that the rulers have to be elected by the people. That is obvious. And the rulers which are elected by the people will take all the major decisions, right? ठीक है, ये तो हो गया. But then what is the counter for that? Like what happens, for example, if you talk about the टाइम ऑफ पाकिस्तान ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ जनरल मुशर्रफ, तो हमने क्या देखा कि बहुत सारे ऐसे डिक्टेटरशिप्स एंड मोनार्कीज हैं. नाउ सी, द रीज़न ऑफ गिविंग you the different types of government in the previous lecture was this only, that in the coming lectures we will come across all of the terms, and at several points of time I cannot keep repeating the meaning and clear definition of all of these terms. So I have explained all of the different kinds of government, at least most of them that we are supposed to study in the previous lecture, so that you're familiar with the terms, right? So I'm proceeding it like a story. If you follow it very positively, it would be very easy or convenient for you to understand them. चलिए. So in many dictatorships and monarchies, what we have noticed is that they have formally elected parliament. ठीक है, जो एक process होता है उससे वो कर भी लेते हैं, गवर्नमेंट भी फॉर्म हो जाती है, but the real power lies with those people who are not elected but lies with some external power, जैसे military हो गया या कुछ भी ऐसा external power which is actually not elected. So in the formal sense what they show is that okay, there is parliament, there is government, but elected people will not rule, or let's say will not have the power, and some external power will continue to hold the power. So it is very important for us to understand that only the phenomena wherein the rulers who will be elected by the people, that will not be sufficient to define democracy. It is very important. Okay, let's say if we just say this much to define the feature of democracy, that will not be sufficient. We have to make sure that in any kind of a country, if we call it a democratic country, so the rulers who are elected by the people should be allowed to take all the major decisions, or let's say should be the ones who are taking all the major decisions. It shouldn't be done by any other external power. So that is one feature. Next is that election should offer a choice and fair opportunity to people to change the current rulers. That in a democracy, when elections happen, it should offer a choice to the people. It should give fair opportunity to the people. Okay? That if you are not satisfied with the present ruler, current ruler, you can change them. Now let's say what happens, let's say in the countries like China, Mexico. Here what will happen, even if elections would be held, it would be very clear that who is going to win. So you are not giving people the real choice of alternatives. You're not एक ही पार्टी का बोलबाला जिसको बोलते हैं ना, despite of let's say even if you see multiple parties contesting, you know that there is just one party जिसका सारा कुछ वहाँ पर चलने वाला है. This is how they have been doing. So you are not, despite of showing that there are multiple alternatives, in reality you are not giving any alternative to the people to change the current ruler. So in fact, holding elections in itself is not sufficient. Any kind of election if you hold, that is not sufficient. The main idea is that election should offer a real choice between political alternatives. They should actually give that alternative to the people, that okay, if you are not satisfied with this kind of a system or the ruler, you can actually change them, right? So this is the another feature. Next is the choice and the opportunity of choosing is available to all the people on an equal basis. Now here also it is very important to be understood that it shouldn't be like that if you are allowing somebody to vote and choose your representative, it should be based on certain criteria. It should be given to everybody on an equal basis. Now let's see, even if you talk about the British India, the colonial India, that CSO before independence, there was voting system here, but then it was just based on a few criteria. Tax को लेके, property को लेके, and in the different parts of the country also, universal adult franchises happened very late. In fact, mostly for the women, if we say so, they were not getting the rights initially. So education used to be the criteria, taxation used to be the criteria, property, or n number of factors would be there. But many countries, of course, in fact most of the countries did not have this equal opportunity given to everybody since the beginning. But in case of India, for example, yes, after independence it was very clear by the Constituent Assembly, by the leaders, that after independence we will follow this system of universal adult franchise, and we will give each adult citizen the right to vote. So one person will get one vote, and one vote will have one value, so that we ensure the political equality. And therefore, only giving choice and opportunity to people to vote is not sufficient. It should be done on an equal basis, and this should be ensured that you are giving this one person, one vote, one value. Next feature is exercise of this choice leads to a government limited. Constitutional government means limited government. बहुत बार पढ़ा दिया है. So exercise of this choice leads to a government limited by basic rules of constitution and citizens' right. Now what is the whole key idea here? That even if you are allowed, public is allowed to choose their leaders, it always has to have that limitation, because the constitution and the rights of the people will be there to limit the powers of the government. So despite of being chosen by the people, they will not have unlimited powers in hand to do anything that they want to do. For example, popular government means which is elected by people, but at times, despite in technicality they are the democratic government, but in real they can still be undemocratic. Why? Because again the same thing will happen, that let's say अगर कहीं constitution नहीं है या rights नहीं है limit करने के लिए, तो प्रोसेस तो इलेक्शन का उनके डेमोक्रेटिक होगा बिकॉज पीपल विल बी इन्वॉल्व, बट इन रियलिटी दे विल एक्सरसाइज द पावर्स विल बी अनडेमोक्रेटिक इन नेचर. Then popular leaders also can be autocratic, because if you do not have mechanisms to limit the powers of those leaders, यहाँ पर autocracy चल सकती है. And then there should be sufficient room for normal political activity including political opposition. हमेशा ये चीज़ ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि एक नॉर्मल तरीके से द पॉलिटिकल एक्टिविटी शुड हैपन, राइट. एंड पॉलिटिकल ऑपोजिशन का मौका सबको आपको बराबरी से देना चाहिए. इट शुड नेवर हैपन दैट यू आर कंटेस्टिंग यू आर कंडक्टिंग द इलेक्शन बट यू आर नॉट गिविंग द रियल अपॉर्चुनिटी टू द ऑपोजिंग ग्रुप्स. See, so for after elections, for example, every democratic government cannot do whatever it like. They just cannot live on their own terms. ठीक है, only because they won an election. No, they have to always take care of the people's requirement, and there should be opposition into a place which will contradict if there is any problem regarding the same. Alright, so next what we will try to understand is the merits of democracy. So in the merits of anything, what you actually try to see is the arguments which are against that particular thing and the arguments which are in favor of that particular thing. So let's say we try to see certain arguments firstly against democracy. There will be pros and cons of everything. There's no doubt about it. So if we talk about the arguments against democracy, for example, the first could be that here the leaders keep on changing. So it leads to instability, of course, because in a democracy you give people the opportunity to change leaders, right? Then यहाँ पे another feature is that because of the political competition involved, because of the power play involved, that everybody just wants to hold on to that power, there is no scope for morality left, right? This could also be another probability, definitely, because everybody could, I mean this is assumed that everybody could go to any extent to do wrong and become immoral only because of the political competition and that lure of the power, that they want to have that powerful position. Then because there are so many people to be consulted, because it is democratic form of government, so it leads to delays. If let's say there would have been just a dictator, ठीक है, or a monarch who would be taking the decision, so there will not be so many consultation. For example, now we have the cabinet system, minister सबसे consultation होता है, फिर वो लोग local लोग से consult करते हैं at times if needed. बट अगर डिक्टेटर रहेगा वो सीधे सीधे जल्दी जल्दी डिसीजंस ले लेगा और देयर विल नॉट बी डिलेज हैपनिंग. दिस इज द काउंटर आर्ग्यूमेंट विच दे गिव अगेंस्ट डेमोक्रेसी. देन इट इज़ ऑल्सो सेट दैट बिकॉज इट इज़ बेस्ड ऑन इलेक्टोरल कॉम्पिटिशन, कि इलेक्शंस होते हैं और उसमें कॉम्पिटिशन होता है, so it leads to corruption, because it is related to this only, that people would just go to any extent to win that election even if it results in corruption. They will not care about it. Then it is said that elected leaders do not know the best interest of people, leading to bad decisions. So it is said that in a democracy, elected leaders are just concerned about their power, their prestige, the money and everything, and they are not actually concerned about the best interest of the people, which actually results in the bad decisions by them. And it is also said that if you are in a democracy, if you are allowing the ordinary people to choose the representatives, they actually do not know what is good for them. So they should not decide anything related to forming of the government. These are certain arguments which are against democracy. Now please understand, if in any prelims they ask you very simple questions on these terms, they can actually give you pointers from these terms and they can say which of these constitute the arguments against democracy, or let's say in favor of a democratic government. और अगर mains में कभी बहुत ही, although they do not ask this kind of a simple question, but in case they ask you to, let's say, analyze the democratic kind of a government, and we will have certain pointers related to them. So after covering this entire lecture, you will understand that how you can see the democratic form of government from a whole holistic picture. Like arguments against हो गया, arguments favor में हो गया, assessing the outcome. How do you assess if a democratic government is working properly or not? Then talking about what are the challenges to democracy, and then understanding about certain suggestions to overcome those challenges. So it's very important that you see this entire thing from a whole together different perspective. So any kind of prelims or mains related question you will be easily tackling. I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to convey here. Okay, now we'll try to see certain arguments which are in favor of democracy. Favor of democracy में क्या है? Firstly, that it is a better form of government, because here the rulers are accountable to the people, because they have been elected by the people, so they are accountable to the people. Then जो एक point था कि बहुत consultation होता है तो it leads to delay. उसका काउंटर है दैट बिकॉज ऑफ द सो मच ऑफ कंसल्टेशन एंड डिस्कशन इट एक्चुअली इम्प्रूव्स द क्वालिटी ऑफ डिसीजन मेकिंग. Then it is also said that it is a method to deal with differences and conflicts. Why? Because in a democratic form of government we can say that no one is permanent winner or loser, right? Because there will always be differences and conflicts, and we will have the mechanism to deal with them, because we will have the system of election into picture, because we will have the selection of the option of election into existence, and people will always get that opportunity to change the rulers if they want to. So always we will have a method or a mechanism to deal with any kind of differences and conflicts. We will have an opposition which can be at times, of course, if they are losing they are in opposition, if they are winning they are forming the government, and this can keep switching. So कोई fixed rigid mechanism नहीं है. It also enhances the dignity of the citizens. So how does it enhance the dignity of the citizens? Because we ensure political equality. Even if we do not have socio-economic equality, at least in India, if we say so. Society में जो status wise बात करते हो आप, कास्ट को लेके या और चीज़ों को लेके, यू हैव डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हियर. इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटी तो है ही, नॉट एवरीबडी गेट्स द सेम इनकम, राइट? सो वी डू हैव दीज टू इनइक्वालिटीज़, बट एटलीस्ट पॉलिटिकल इक्वालिटी तो हम इंश्योर कर रहे हैं. इट इज़ अ रिच पर्सन और दैट्स अ पुअर पर्सन, डज नॉट मैटर, एवरीबडी विल हैव द सेम स्टेटस. वाई? Because what did we see? That one person will have one vote and one vote will have one value. So we do ensure this to each and every adult citizen, political equality. Then another is that it is better than other forms of government because it allows us to correct our own mistake. So let's say if you have voted for a particular individual or a party in this election, and if you feel for the rest, let's say 5 years, that they have not performed to the best of your expectation, you will always have an option to correct the own mistakes. So it is said that either the person who has become the ruler, or let's say the representative here, let's say the minister, or let's say the opposition में भी, क्योंकि आप उनको भी तो चुनते ही हो, so let's say any member of the legislature. So at least what will happen, they know that if they will not correct their mistakes, they will be replaced next time. Or if they will not do this, so you will correct your mistake, and what you will do is that you will choose some other person next time, right? So it is also said that, what options do you have? Like if you compare, even if it is not the best form of government, it cannot be the best form of government, because we have seen that there are arguments against it also. There are loopholes, there are cons in this. But if you compare it with the other forms of government that we have an option for, which I have taught about in the previous lecture, then you will still see कि चलो बाकी सबसे तो बेहतर है ना. It is still better than the other forms of government. So of course it's always sensible to go for the things which, if they are not the best, but at least better, so that we have the best possible options available to us. Let's now try to understand that if there is a democratic form of government, so how do you assess the outcomes, if they have actually performed well or not, if they are actually doing what they are supposed to do or not. Let's say the first thing is about to know about the accountability, responsibility and the legitimacy of the government. So a democratic government would actually be a good one if it is accountable to its citizens, if it is taking care of it, if it is responsive to the needs and expectations of the people, and it is a legitimate government if it is people's own government. So here the rulers who have been actually elected by the people will be deciding the things for the people. Then how do we ensure this? With the help of regular, free and fair election. There should be public debate on policies and legislation so that people are involved, and the citizens' rights of information should always be there. They should always be informed about the government and the functioning of the government. It cannot be done that these people will not be getting their adequate you would say the right, or let's say the adequate information which they needed to know about the government. Next is about checking if the democratic government has ensured economic growth and development or not. Now this is not completely something which needs to be related to democracy, because economic growth and development of course depends on other factors also, like population, like the economic situation there, like the area, like the geography, culture, and number of things matter. But still a democratic form of government at least should try to ensure the growth and development in a holistic manner. Then if it has helped in the reduction of inequality and poverty or not, again socio-economic equality की बात हो जाएगी, ठीक है, बिकॉज पॉलिटिकल तो हम चेक कर ही रहे हैं, economic, and then resulting in social equality, if this is ensured by a democracy or not. Then how do you assess whether a democratic government is able to accommodate social diversity or not? Why? Because here what happens that the majority should always work with the minority. We need to be ensuring this, that the majority is always taking care of the minority. What does this mean? यहाँ पर this is actually taken into some indirect manner. Indirect manner means that rule by the majority. Here majority means people, because people are in majority, they will just elect handful of people to be their representative, but in majority the public is the major portion. So rule by majority does not become rule by majority community. This is what they are trying to tell you with the first statement, that majority should always work with minority. You have to understand the difference between majority and majority community. Let's say if you say only majority means which is having higher number. So it is the public in general which is having higher number as compared to the leaders. But when you use the term majority community, what does this mean? This means this community can be in terms of religion, race, linguistic group, yani language related, anything. So such kind of majority is not what we are understanding. What we are telling कि rule by majority यानी rule by people होना चाहिए. It shouldn't become rule by a majority community, and they should accommodate the minority with them. ठीक है? So there should be clear cut accommodation of the diversity, and dignity of the freedom of citizens should be maintained by a democratic government. They should take care of if they are giving adequate representation to women, or let's say opportunities to women. कास्ट के बेसिस पर जो है वो आप कोई ऐसे डिस्क्रिमिनेशन तो नहीं कर रहे हो. So that freedom, that dignity should be maintained. Moving ahead with the challenges to democracy. Now what are the challenges that a democracy can face? First kind of a challenge that it can face would be in those countries which are not under democratic government. So you will say कि जहाँ डेमोक्रेसी है ही नहीं वहाँ डेमोक्रेसी को कैसा चैलेंज हो सकता है? But that is the whole challenge, that if the government is not democratic, there will be the foundational challenge, so that you try to make the transition to democracy, but maybe you're able to or you're not able to do that. So the foundational challenge of making the transition to democracy and then instituting a democratic government is very important in those kind of countries which are not under the democracy system. Another kind of challenge to democracy would be in the challenge of expansion. So let's say you have somehow instituted a democratic government in a non-democratic system, then applying the principles of democratic government in those countries would be very tough, because you will have to apply it across all regions, across different social groups, across different institutions. So that will not be easy. You will have to check whether you have the existence of local government or not, federal system or not, women are given adequate place or not, minority are taken care of not. So expand, sirf institute kar dena democracy is not sufficient. You have to expand also. You have to take care of all the features of democracy. Then once it is instituted also, once it is expanded also, you have to now focus on the next challenge, which will be deepening of democracy. And that can happen only by strengthening the institutions, let's say legislature, executive, judiciary, अलग bodies like let's say election commission हो गया, या फिर UPSC kind of a body in case of India. So you have to strengthen those institutions also. You have to strengthen the practices of democracy also. So only expanding will not work. They should work very much in a stronghold manner, and it should happen to bring down the control and influence of the rich and powerful people in making the government decision. These institutions should be independently working so that they are not influenced by the rich and powerful people. That also is a kind of a challenge which exists for democracy. Then of course we will have to talk about, now okay, if we have the challenges to democracy, how do we try to ensure overcoming of those challenges? कैसे कोशिश करेंगे? So there has to be certain suggestions and proposals to overcome the challenges. Now these suggestions are like not very rigid, बस हम overall try कर सकते हैं, समझ सकते हैं कि हम थोड़ा इसको overcome करें. जैसे कि there should be carefully devised changes in the law to discourage the wrong political practices and encourage the good ones. जो भी political practices हैं अगर गलत हैं तो उनको डिस्करेज करने के लिए और जो अच्छे प्रैक्टिसेस हैं उनको एनकरेज करने के लिए हमारे पास लॉ में उतने चेंजेस अच्छे से होने चाहिए. Now you have to notice that legal constitutional changes तो चाहिए ही, that is important, but we also need to have democratic reforms. It will not only be legal in nature, it has to be those reforms which will be carried out by, let's say, the political activists, the parties, the movements, and the politically conscious citizens. So everybody will play their role, and when we will have those kind of a changes, then it will discourage the wrong practices and encourage the good practices. We also need to see if checking if legal change is not having a counterproductive response on politics. क्या यहाँ पर समझ आना है कि जो लीगल चेंज की हम बात भी कर रहे हैं, it shouldn't have any counterproductive response, which means that if you are putting out some law, it needs to be clearly seen if it is in the welfare of everybody or not. It shouldn't be like कि आपने लीगली तो कुछ चेंज कर लिया बट वो लोगों के लिए भलाई नहीं कर पा रही है. सो एग्जाम्पल, सम लॉज दैट सीक टू बैन समथिंग आर नॉट वेरी सक्सेसफुल इन पॉलिटिक्स. इट्स नॉट ऑलवेज इम्पॉर्टेंट दैट ऑल योर लॉज विल बी वेरी मच सक्सेसफुल. देर आर, अब कोई भी चीज़ जो अगर कोई लेट्स से कोई कम्युनिटी है, किसी भी बेसिस की कम्युनिटी है, कुछ प्रैक्टिस कर रही है, अगर आपने सडनली कुछ बैन कर दिया तो ऐसा नहीं है दैट योर लॉ विल बी वेरी मच एक्सेप्टेबल. उन दोज काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन यू नीड टू सी दैट वो पोलिटिकली काउंटर प्रोडक्टिव नहीं होना चाहिए. देन you should also focus on strengthening the democratic practice, like improving the quality of participation by ordinary citizens. And it is not only about having the practice or let's say the policies, there should be clear cut implementation and a very strengthened implementation of policies also. और ये सारी चीज़ें जब हम करने की कोशिश करेंगे, इम्प्लीमेंट करने की कोशिश करेंगे, सो वी माइट ओवरकम द चैलेंजेस विच द डेमोक्रेसी इज फेसिंग इन डिफरेंट फेजेस, ईदर एस्टैब्लिशिंग इटसेल्फ, एक्सपैंडिंग इटसेल्फ और डीपनिंग इटसेल्फ. ओके, सो आई हैव गिवन यू इनफ पॉइंटर्स about the outcomes, challenges, merits, which includes your arguments against and favor, definition, explanation, features, everything. I hope now you got a clear picture of this particular topic. Now I'll see you in the next video, wherein we'll discuss about the election per se. The reason being because we have seen that it is about democracy is related to the election by the people. So we have to relate these two terms before we see more of the details. So let's meet in the next video and discuss from here on. Thank you so much guys. Take care till then. Bye bye.